What happened?
Hi everyone. Yeah, it's a terrible news, of course, for the national team, for France, for Karim himself. He was at the end of the training session behind closed doors tonight. The first training session that Karim was able to join in with the group, because since they got together on Monday, because he had that muscular fatigue, that's how they put it, with Real Madrid. He hadn't been able before to train with everybody else. Tonight was the first night. He started all well, and then towards the end he accelerated, and then straight away felt really strong pain into his left quad, and they went to do a scan here in Doha, and a few hours later we knew that there was a rupture, like a tear in the muscle, and that he would be out for 3 to 4 weeks. So there's no point keeping him here. He can't play in this whole World Cup. We were hoping at the beginning that maybe he might just miss the first game against Australia on Tuesday, but in the end the French would have to do without him, which is again a terrible blow for the team, of course, but also for him. He'd been waiting 8 years to play again in a World Cup. 8 years is a long time for a player like him, and he's maybe before, until the start of this season, it's never been in the form like the one that we saw him in last year, and it's a real shame that he won't be able to play in this competition.
How big a blow is this for France, Ale?
I think it's a major blow. I think that Karim Benzema gives you so many different things in the attack that would free a player like Kylian Mbappe. While Benzema is able to give you the movement of the ball, and he's able to drop into playmaking positions, he can play the center forward position, he can be in so many different roles that then you have to pay attention to Karim Benzema, which then allows Mbappe to run freely and to find 1v1 situations or to get in behind. That doesn't quite happen now with whoever takes over that position. I think Benzema is an outstanding player, we know that, but he's a player that in a moment of crisis, in a moment of pressure, we know full well, because we have seen it time and time again, certainly over the last couple of seasons, he can deliver that moment, that goal, that specific situation in which you score a big goal, you go through. And in the World Cup, once you get into the tighter stages, once you get into the quarterfinals, semifinals, all you need is that sort of player, that sort of moment who can score that sort of goal. Benzema is that kind of guy. I think this is a major blow for France.
Jules, who is the replacement then? Is it Olivier Giroud?
Yeah, Giroud will start up front in what looks like a 4-2-3-1 formation that Deschamps and the players have been working on tonight, up to the injury of Benzema and also yesterday. I mean, we put them like that. That was before the tournament. We just replaced Benzema by Giroud on this graphic that you can see on the screen now. But I think it will be a different formation. I think Ousmane Dembélé will start on the right-hand side. Kylian will start more on the left-hand side, and there will be no Fofana in the team. But it's a like Ali rightly explained, it's a very different team and very different dynamic if you play with Giroud up front, who is more of a traditional number 9, which, for example, an Mbappe has said before, the famous pivot line, that he likes also playing with someone like that. But it's a very different vibe also for the team. And when you think that Benzema is out after Pogba and Kanté, that Varane is not sure to be ready, you lost Nkunku, you lost Kimpembe as well, it starts to be a lot. And also Deschamps has until Monday evening, if he wants to call a new player to replace Karim Benzema in the squad. So maybe a Ben Yedder, maybe an Anthony Martial, maybe a Moussa Diaby, for example, who's very good with Bayer Leverkusen this season. So let's see if Deschamps decides to stay at 25 or maybe bring another player.
Given those absences that Jules already mentioned, and now Karim Benzema on top of this, how do you see France in this World Cup?
I think France will get out of the group stages, but I'm not quite sure how deep they go in this tournament. I feel that this is a more significant blow than you'd suggest. And while the argument is France won without Benzema in 2018, Olivier Giroud went through that entire tournament without scoring a goal. And you are talking about a Giroud who's now 4 years older, has got that record, so to speak, under his belt, and Antoine Griezmann, who is not playing anywhere near as well as he was 4 years ago. It becomes more difficult in the deeper stages of the tournament when you, as Ali put it, when you are relying on that one moment of magic, or that one moment of consistency that Benzema brings, probably better than anybody else. How exactly how deep that memory fails me as to how the grid is split up, but it's not a good look, and I don't see them getting past, 16?
They do have Kylian Mbappe in that squad, though,
Yes.
Stevie.
Listen, I don't think anybody can turn around and say it's not a huge blow. I mean, it is. And yes, you can say, as Shaka said, oh, they won it before without him. But the truth is, France have got a squad full of quality going forward as well. You know, this is not a Senegal situation where they've lost Sadio Mane and all of a sudden you're going, well, this is a complete and utter disaster. There's just no coming back from that for them. We're not doing that. You know, you can still have a front three with Griezmann, Mbappe, and Giroud. You've got Dembele and Coman on the bench. You know, you've still got ability going forward. So you can't say it's a complete disaster. It's certainly not ideal. I'm sure 100% Benzema would be one of the first names on the team sheet. But I tell you what, with the squad they have, they can change things around and play a different way.
Jules has got France to go all the way. At least when we did our pre-tournament predictions, Jules has France to go all the way. I'm wondering how this affects your predictions here, Jules.
Yeah, I understand what Stevie is saying, and I agree with him to a certain extent. It's still a talented squad, of course it is, but it's a very young midfield with players who've never played in a World Cup before, who have played one especially, Rabiot has played Champions League football, but the rest have played a little bit of it. But again, even in Champions League standard, they're quite new to it. So I think this could be a problem. Varane's fitness is an issue as well, and then obviously all the players that are missing that we mentioned before, because you might have won the World Cup 4 years ago without Benzema, but you did it with Pogba and Kanté and Varane, who were all fully fit and performing at their best almost. So it's going to be tough. I don't think it's possible for France to win this World Cup now. I really believe that. Even if Deschamps is going to come back to a much more defensive approach. One, because it's what he does, and two, because with all the players missing now, I guess it's the right thing to do. But I think it's a really difficult ask now to see them going further than what if you finish second now in your group behind Denmark, you play Argentina potentially in the last 16, and after that things get even tougher. I just don't think so. And for Karim, just to finish on him, because I saw him on Monday and he was smiling, and I said to him, "How do you feel?" He said, "I feel great. I can't wait to play this World Cup. I've waited so long, 8 years, to play in another World Cup." And now this World Cup, which would have been his last, of course, he's 35 at the end of December. And that injury prevents him from playing, and I feel really sad for him right now.
Yeah, such a shame that we do not get to see the current Ballon d'Or winner playing in this World Cup. Jules, thanks so much for being with us. I will speak more to Jules throughout the World Cup. We'll be with you every day. As for France, as Jules mentioned, they will be in action against Australia on Tuesday. Just a reminder of their Group D, Denmark and Tunisia also alongside them.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.